Cognitive milestones represent important steps forward in a child's development. Throughout human history, babies were often thought of as simple, passive beings. Prior to the 20th century, children were often seen simply as miniature versions of adults. It wasn't until psychologists like Jean Piaget proposed that children actually think differently than adults do and that people began to view childhood and adolescence as a unique period of growth and development. Adults often dismissed the remarkable intellectual skills of infants and very young children, but modern thinkers and researchers have discovered that babies are in fact always learning, thinking, and exploring the world around them. Even newborn infants are actively taking in information and learning new things. In addition to gathering new information about the people and the world around them, babies are also constantly discovering new things about themselves. From birth to 3 months, the first 3 months of a child's life are a time of wonder. Major developmental milestones at this age are centered on exploring the basic senses and learning more about the body and the environment. During this period, most infants begin to demonstrate anticipatory behaviors, like rooting and sucking at the side of a nipple or bottle, detect sound differences in pitch and volume, discern objects more clearly within a distance of 13 inches, focus on moving objects, including the faces of caregivers, see all colors of the human visual spectrum, tell between tastes, from sweet, salty, bitter, and sour, use facial expressions to respond to their environment. From 3 to 6 months in early infancy, perceptual abilities are still developing. From the age of 3 to 6 months, infants begin to develop a stronger sense of perception. At this age, most babies begin to imitate facial expressions, react to familiar sounds, recognize familiar faces, respond to the facial expressions of other people. From 6 to 9 months, looking inside the mind of an infant is no easy task. After all, researchers cannot just ask a baby what he or she is thinking at any given moment. To learn more about the mental processes of infants, researchers have come up with a number of creative tasks that reveal the inner workings of the baby brain. From the age of 6 to 9 months, researchers have found that most infants begin to gaze longer at impossible things, such as an object suspended in midair, tell the differences between pictures depicting different numbers of objects, understand the differences between animate and inanimate objects, utilize the relative size of an object to determine how far away it is. From 9 to 12 months, as infants become more physically adept, they are able to explore the world around them in greater depth. Sitting up, crawling, and walking is just a few of the physical milestones that allow babies to gain a greater mental understanding of the world around them. As they approach 1 year of age, most infants are able to enjoy looking at picture books, imitate gestures and some basic actions, manipulate objects by turning them over, trying to put one object into another, etc. Respond with gestures and sounds, understand the concept of object permanence, the idea that an object continues to exist even though it cannot be seen. From 1 to 2 years after reaching a year of age, children's physical, social, and cognitive development seems to grow by leaps and bounds. Children at this age spend a tremendous amount of time observing the actions of adults, so it is important for parents and caregivers to set good examples of behavior. Most 1-year-olds begin to identify objects that are similar, imitate the actions and language of adults, learn through exploration, point out familiar objects and people in picture books, tell the difference between me and you, understand and respond to words. From 2 to 3 years, at 2 years of age, children are becoming increasingly independent. Since they are now able to better explore the world, a great deal of learning during this stage is the result of their own experiences. Most 2-year-olds are able to identify their own reflection in the mirror by name, imitate more complex adult actions, playing house, pretending to do laundry, etc. Match objects with their uses, name objects in a picture book, respond to simple directions from parents and caregivers, sort objects by category, i.e., animals, flowers, trees, etc. Stack rings on a peg from largest to smallest. From 3 to 4 years, children become increasingly capable of analyzing the world around them in more complex ways. As they observe things, they begin to sort and categorize them into different categories, often referred to as schemas. Since children are becoming much more active in the learning process, they also begin to pose questions about the world around them. Why becomes a very common question around this age. At the age of 3, most kids are able to ask Why? Questions to gain information demonstrate awareness of the past and present. Learn by observing and listening to instructions. Maintain a longer attention span of around 5 to 15 minutes. Organize objects by size and shape. Seek answers to questions. Understand how to group and match object according to color. From 4 to 5 years. As they near school age, children become better at using words, imitating adult actions, counting, and other basic activities that are important for school preparedness. Most 4-year-olds are able to create pictures that they often name and describe. Count to 5. Draw the shape of a person. Name and identify many colors. Rhyme. Tell where they live. Help kids reach cognitive milestones. For many parents, encouraging children's intellectual development is a point of major concern. Fortunately, children are eager to learn right from the very beginning. While education will soon become an enormous part of a growing child's life, those earliest years are mostly influenced by close family relationships, particularly those with parents and other caregivers. This means that parents are in a unique position to help shape how their children learn, think, and develop. In the home, parents can encourage their children's intellectual abilities by helping kids make sense of the world around them. When an infant shows interest in an object, parents can help the child touch and explore the item as well as saying what the object is. For example, when a baby looks intently at a toy rattle, the parent might pick up the item and place it in the infant's hand saying, "Does Gracie want the rattle?" and then shake the rattle to demonstrate what it does. As kids grow older, parents should continue to encourage their children to actively explore the world. Try to have patience with young children who seem to have an endless array of questions about each and everything around them. Parents can also pose their own questions to help kids become more creative problem solvers. When facing a dilemma, ask questions such as, "What do you think would happen if we," or, "What might happen if we?" By allowing kids to come up with original solutions to problems, parents can help encourage both intellectual development and self-confidence.